Newcastle Live.
G'day, Dennis. How are you?
I'm good, Dan. How are you?
Yeah, really good. I really appreciate you staying up so late or early as it is for you.
Wait. I could take those points. I could take those points and let you think that I'm being a wonderful person, but I stay up all night. This is perfect for me.
Oh, fantastic.
I am so happy when I have to do advanced stuff for Australia and interviews because I go, oh, that's great, because I could do them at like 1 and 2 in the morning. I'm awake anyway.
Have you always been a night owl?
I really have. I think I developed it even more, though, when I was on the road with the band, because when you travel with a bunch of people, you're with someone every minute of the day. And then after the show, you go back to your room and you shut the door, and my choices were, well, do I go to sleep or do I read now and listen to music or write a letter or whatever you did back then? And so I kind of cultivated those hours. But I'll tell you what, man, if I could get whatever it takes that makes you go to sleep, if I could get that taken out, I would. I think it's such a pain in the ass sleeping. I really do.
You must find more productive hours in the day than most people then.
I guess. I mean, I don't sleep, and it's not like I go to sleep at 4 a.m. and then sleep till 2 in the afternoon. I go to sleep about 4-ish generally, and kind of somewhere around 7:30, 8:30, I start thinking, I really ought to get up. I always tell people, if you're around me for more than 5 hours and I'm still asleep, put a mirror under my nose, because something is wrong.
And tell me...
I'm telling you, I don't sleep. I'd like to have it taken out, please, if anybody knows how you do that.
And
as I get older, here, I don't want to sleep 8 hours a day.
Do you find inspiration to write at night time?
Everything.
Yep.
I think better at night because I know mostly, except for this, don't take this the wrong way because I'm happy to be talking to you, but mostly at night when I'm not doing stuff like this, my phone doesn't ring.
Yeah.
And it's just me, and everybody else I know goes to sleep, and I really do relish the nighttime hours. I watch films, and I don't really listen to a lot of music at night. I think I got that in hotel rooms too, where you just don't listen to anything at night because somebody may pound on your door. And I do live in a flat. But I just like, I like the nighttime hours. I think it's really useful to have them. It's like a whole bunch of hours other people don't get.
Perfect. And tell me, you're bringing the music of Dr. Hook to the Civic Theatre in Newcastle here on the 28th of October. I just wanted to ask you, for years you shied away from the Dr. Hook songs, playing them live. What's it like to return to these classics?
Well, I'll tell you what, I didn't totally shy away from the songs. What I shied away from is having a band and the whole big circus thing about traveling with a band. I did a lot of solo touring in the last 10 years of my life, just me and my guitars. In the UK, and I did a solo tour in Australia, 2014. That did really well all over the country, and I like that. I like walking out onto the stage and talking to people because I don't sit on a stool with my eyes closed and play folk songs. I engage, and I like people to be able to talk to me. So I enjoy that kind of performance, and so I did that for a long time, and it kept my feet on the ground, and I put out 3 solo albums. You know what I think it is more than anything, Dan? I think it's when you do something like Hook that took all my time for 15 years. When it ended, I was happy I'd done it, but I really had to see if there was anything else, because there's something sad about people congratulating you over and over again on something you did 20 years ago. You want to know that, and not just music, anybody. I mean, if you were a woman and you raised 3 lovely children and they went off to college, you'd like to know you still had some merit, And so I wrote and I released solo albums that my fans liked, and it got some critical acclaim, and I did a book of poetry, and I did some acting, and I'm not even going to compare the successes of them to Dr. Hook, but it just leaves me now, at this point in my life, feeling like a little bit more well-rounded and,
Yeah.
and willing to say, yeah, now look at this catalog. Because, this Timeless album that came out,
Yeah.
that's out in Australia now, I put that together for Universal originally here in the UK in 2014, and it went top 10, and it went top 10 in New Zealand when I toured down there. And this stuff is, it's decades old, and it's amazing to me because people still talk to me about this stuff as if it's an ongoing concern. And, this is going to sound funny to you, but I think in the interim years here, I've maybe lost sight a little bit of, or maybe I'm only finding out for the first time, but how much people like this stuff.
Yeah.
Because, when you're doing it, when you have a hit record, you know what you do? You hug each other, and then you go, oh, my God, now we have to have another one.
Yes.
Because if you buy a nice house, they don't just give you that. They don't go, oh, here's a nice house. This is the guy who sang Sylvia's Mother. Here's a nice house. They give you a nice house, and if you don't pay them for it, they come and they take it away.
Yes.
So now I think being a million steps away from it,
Yeah.
I look at it and I think, man, people really, really love this stuff. People talk to me about how it's in their lives, how they went camping and they, and with their families, and their dad passed away and he loved this music, and you can't dismiss it. It's I'm right in the middle of people's lives when they talk to me.
And thinking
Very
about
strange.
and thinking about that, Dennis, one of the questions I was going to ask you this a little bit later, but I'm going to pose it to you now since we're on that topic. The music industry has arguably changed a hell of a lot since you first started out. What do you think of the rise of digital distribution and things like social media? Do you think that's added to the nostalgia for these songs?
I'm going to sound like every other geezer, who goes, I don't know why they're doing it like that now, but I get it. I get it. I get why things change, and I get it. Social media, I had to be dragged kicking and screaming onto social media.
Yeah.
And now I'm on Twitter, and I got to tell you, I can't think of something 144 characters to say every day, but once in a while, I'm on there, and it accommodates the world that's happening now.
Yeah.
But we're living in a disposable world, and I don't know how much things are built to last anymore.
Yeah.
Whether it's music or your car.
Yeah.
I think it's all supposed to just keep turning over now.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people to sell to and a lot of people to feed, and the talent shows are great, but I would rather watch a TV talent show that has a juggler and a dog act and a clown and a ventriloquist and a sword swallower and go, I think I like the dog act better than watch 20 singers pit against each other like it's a gladiator. There's something weird about it. And then even if you win, they usually cut your head off and throw it into the town square.
Very much.
It's very strange. And so here I am going, I don't know. I tell you what, I will tell you this, okay, and this is my only gauge. And this is not to be discouraging to anybody who's up and coming, because, again, please remember that I'm saying this without the benefit of forgetting everything I know.
Yep.
But I would not be in this business if this was the business that was there when I got in.
Yep.
I just was a guy playing in bars. We were a bar band. We got a couple of lucky breaks. It was, we toured. I didn't audition, and I'd never in a million years get through at an audition show. I wouldn't get through. So I wouldn't be here if it was this way
Then.
back then.
Yeah, you're not the first
That's
musician to say that to me. A number of musicians have made similar points when I've asked them, a similar question to that. It's always interesting to hear. We're so caught up in the now of social media. You can find out what your favourite band had for breakfast these days. Where I remember when I was younger, you had to wait for Rolling Stone to come out from the States to find out things about your favourite band.
Hey, Hey man, when I was a kid, I'd see the Beatles and I'd grow my hair like that, and the next time I saw a picture of Beatles was months later, and I think, God, they have mustaches. How the hell did they do that? You know? But no, man, you can't look down on it because that's the way it is. Okay, my grandmother used to go, I hate television. At least with radio, you had to use your imagination.
Yes.
You know, so you got to roll on with it. But it's not quite as organic as it used to be. It's just not. And another thing that happened is you used to practice and you used to be in a band and you'd play together and you'd play anywhere you could. And people don't do that much anymore.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, I need this right now.
Yeah.
I need to be famous right now. I need somebody. That's why there's so much electronic music as opposed to I learned how to play guitar. I learned how to play keyboards. It's a lot. I'm not saying it's easier to program it. It's just a different route to get there. And, you know, so it's just a different world, man. It's just a totally different world. And I'm glad I don't live in it.
And just before I let you go, we have a lot of musos that that interact with the content that Newcastle Live builds, and I always like to ask musos about the gear they're currently playing. What sort of guitars are you currently playing? Do you have a favourite? What are you bringing to Australia?
I have three guitars, acoustic guitars. I used to play a Stratocaster electric, but I got two great guitar players in the band. Actually, here who got them here in the UK. Both of them were Australian.
Okay.
Musical Australian, but they play the electric guitars. They're brilliant. But I got three acoustics, and I mostly use these when I tour alone. And one of them is made by a company in Belfast called Loudon.
Oh, yep.
And it's Lowden, and they kind of made me this little guitar that I used to play these songs in open tuning in, and I don't have very big hands, and I don't like big-bodied dreadnought guitars because they just break my ribs. I'm a real physical player. So I had this Loudon, and people always used to say, man, what's that one guitar you picked up? It sounded so great. So I went back to Loudon, and they're not Loudon anymore. They're now called Avalon.
Okay.
And they're still out of Belfast. And they made me another small. I used to play Takamines, and one of the reasons I liked them is the one I had is because it was small bodied, small neck, and it suit me right down to the T. And so they kind of designed me a guitar based on those dimensions. And so I have two of those, one of them being a spare, and and the Loudon on the road. But that's, you know, those are really the only guitars, and a couple of blues harps.
Are you playing harp in the show? Yeah.
Yeah. There's a couple of little bits in there. I like playing harmonica. You know, it's nice to have little flashes of it. I mean, if I played harmonica for the whole show, you'd see how little I knew.
And before I let you go, I wanted to ask you a little bit more about your band that you're bringing, and how's the show going to roll out that you're bringing to Australia? You're playing in chronological order. Like, tell me about the show.
Yeah, no, it's not chronological order particularly. It's just in, songs that work well together and things like that. And it goes all over the shop. But, you know, it's so hard to pick. When I was compiling that album, Universal said we'd like a double album with 40 tracks. It was hard choosing what to leave on, what to leave off, you know. But I think there's going to be a lot of the biggest songs, certainly. You know, a lot of the hits, some of the really choice album tracks, and I'm going to play one or two of the things from my solo albums, and I'll tell you why. Not to belabor them, but if I would have carried on recording as Dr. Hook, those songs would have been Dr. Hook songs.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? So as a writer, it's almost a little bit like I'm saying, and this is kind of what would have happened next, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to belabor the point. Believe me, the album is called Timeless. The tour is called Timeless, and it takes 100 years to find out that you're timeless. Well, nobody, man. Only how arrogant would you have to be to call your first album Timeless? You know. But I want to play all those songs. I want to play the things people know. You know, Sylvia's Mother, Walk Right In, Better Love Next Time, Sexy Eyes, on and on. And you know, and hopefully anything I don't get this time, I'll get next time. Because the cool thing about Australia is, for me now, is I came down in 2014 with my solo show. I did 26 shows all over the country. It went really well. I'm coming back now with this great band. And yeah, see, I got this great band, and everybody sings and all the harmonies. Because, you know, lots of times when you record, you go in and you put stuff in there because you can.
Yeah.
And then you go on the road and you go, oh my God, we don't have any girls in the band. You know, I don't have a flute player, you know, but we're so close to creating, because what I said to John Marr, the musical director, when he was putting this stuff together for me, I said, you know, it's like a sense memory, this music.
Yeah.
You know, it really is. It's like when you smell a certain scent and it makes you think of your mom's dinner.
Yeah.
You know, it really is. The music really does take people back to certain points. So I want the music to go there.
Yeah.
I want, and it's so cool because I'm singing this stuff probably for the first time ever in front of the music that sounds like supposed to be there. I mean, I can't explain that to you, but it's, you know, when you're on the road, you play, you busk your way through, you record it with studio players. These guys are just, and when one girl in the band singing, and it's just, I almost forget to sing. It sounds so good, you know. I really do. I have to remind myself to keep singing because I just want to hear what's going on. So I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to be, you know. And like I said, I'm not bringing back Dr. Hook. I mean, 4 of the guys are dead. I mean, you know, 4 of the guys are gone. I can't, you know, any Dr. Hook reunion these days, Dan, would have to start with a seance.
Excuse me, Dennis, in 15 minutes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Dennis,
but no, man, I'm thrilled to be coming back. I really am. And I appreciate your time and, you know, telling people I'm on my way back, you know, because it's coming, it's looming large now. It's not very long, a couple of 7 weeks.
That's right, that's right. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you very much, Dan. I hope I talk to you again, pal.
Thanks, man. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Newcastle Live.